1. Hey, welcome to the Local Shops 1 Lowdown, where we catch up with Tampa Bay area business owners. I'm Pat Largo, your host, and today we're going to be talking with a very interesting human being. He's a man who's a local sawyer, and he mills his own locally harvested logs and creates lumber, which is going to show you some great pieces of artwork here momentarily. It's really cool. He's the owner of Bear Creek Custom Timber, LLC, Mr. Mark James. Mark, thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Pat. Thank you very much for having me.
This is great. You're like the second Local Shops 1 Lowdown segment that we've done so far, so this is very exciting. If people don't know, this is all the whole Local Shops thing was a brainchild birthed by Esther Venuzio in Pinellas County, a Gulfport area, and she does all this great, fantastic stuff for all the locally independent-owned businesses, the mom and pops, basically throughout the Tampa Bay area. I'm trying to get more in my neck of the woods in Pasco, but especially in Pinellas County, and does such events as Shopapalooza and Tiny Homes Festival and all that good stuff like that. Mark, again, thanks for being with us. Let me just jump into it, if that's okay with you. Tell us about Bear Creek Custom Timber.
It was born out of a need. I worked in a professional world for 27 years, and after working for this company for so long, it got sold to a foreign company. They decided to move it to Asia. I didn't want to go to Asia, so I took a hobby that I've been doing my entire life since high school, actually Bogusiega High School in Gulfport, and turned it into my profession. I just decided to attack it full time. And I've been, fairly successful. I built a shop on my property. I live near Gulfport, but I have a shop behind my home, and I do all my woodworking and creations and logging and sawing here on my property.
Wow. Yes. And I went on your website, which I know I have listed here. It's is it bearcreekcustomtimber.com?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. And I was on that earlier, and we'll get into that, and we'll show it off a little later. Now, you said you've been in this business for how long?
Well, I mean, I've been woodworking my entire life since high school. So in the early 70s is when I started, and I've been doing it as a hobby. But now I've been doing it full time for about 5 years.
Wow. Okay, so you were in the wood game your whole life, but the last few years, you're like, oh, you know what? I think this could be a career decision. Right.
I was born and raised in Florida, in a small place called Chokoloskee Island, south of Everglades City. So we were very self-sufficient. And so we got in the habit of taking trees and logs and things that were available in our area and turning them into, rather than going to the local Home Depot and purchasing it. So
yeah. And that's funny you brought that up, because I was going to ask you where you're from, if you're flow grown, and you are. So now what county is that you're from?
Well, it's just next to Monroe County.
Okay.
And it's next to Naples.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, Monroe is in the Keys, but the county comes all the way up to the mainland. So part of the Everglades National Park and Flamingo are all a portion of Monroe County.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll be darned. That is so cool. Now, I was on your site, like I said, the last couple of days, just checking some stuff out. And before we start showing off some of the wares, I saw wood pieces, but then I also saw musical instruments. I mean, you have a whole vast array of weapons in your arsenal.
Well, I try to do things that are different than everybody else, try to separate myself, because there's a lot of wood items available out there that people create, and some amazing stuff. I have a friend, his name's Bill Truax. Bill works with me periodically. He's a postman / luthier, and Bill and I started building 5-string banjos from repurposed lumber probably about 4 years ago. Bill's a banjo player. And we started building them out of one of our best ones. We went and salvaged a bunch of lumber from the Bellevue Biltmore Hotel before they tore it down. And that was late 1800s old growth longleaf pine that you couldn't even cut it down if you wanted to. You couldn't find any because it's been over harvested and it's all gone. That wood, for the most part, would have been destined for the incinerator. And some salvagers picked some up. But we made 5-string banjos from it. The grain and the figure was just fantastic. And then we kind of moved into guitar making. In fact, we've got one that we're under construction right now. This is a black walnut guitar. This was harvested in Florida from my wood shop. Everything on here is made from scratch, not purchased. And people don't realize that black walnut grows in Florida, but it does. You just have to go far north for it. But
wow. Now the banjo thing is, once you said banjo, I was thinking, and this is just me capriciously thinking, but I mean, I don't know, with the good looking stuff you're making, you got to somehow down the road either tweet or somehow get a hold of Steve Martin, the comedian, his representation, because he's so into it. And I bet you he'll at least have someone respond back to you, because he respects music and that instrument so much. It's so cool. I'll see if I can even help out a little bit down the line with that. When it comes to guitars now you're making, are these going to go, I know you're selling them, but do you also have a chance to put them in local, like independent music stores, like to sell?
That's our plan. Right now, I mean, it's not something that you can turn out in a week's time. Right now, this guitar is taking us about a month to construct because, as I said, we're not buying anything. You know, everything up to like there's a kerfing that's inside the guitar that you use to hold the top and the back onto it. And there's over 2,000 individual bandsaw cuts just on one of these pieces. So yeah, everything is handmade. It takes some time, but that is our intent. Yeah. Custom made ones on order, as well as some spec ones that'll be available in local music shops.
Wow. Now, if you could break down, like maybe just a quick percentage of your business, though, is the guitars and banjos, any kind of musical instruments, still a smaller percentage of the bulk of what you have for sale?
Well, only because of the amount of time. Like I just completed a banjo like 2 weeks ago, and I had it in a shop downtown, and it sold almost instantaneously. I don't have another one to replace it, so it'll take a little bit of time to redo it. But yeah, I mean, as far as work that I probably spend 50% of the time making musical instruments and 50% of the time making other home decorator items, tables, and that kind of thing.
Okay, and that leads me to my next question, which is awesome. I didn't know that was a 50-50 split. That's pretty cool. So tables, I was seeing some other, like just some other artwork that I don't know if it was a table or not. I may have been drinking. I can't confirm or deny. But it had like pieces of wood with wonderful, like a certain solid stripe of color in between, like red or like a turquoise. Yeah. Was that a table?
Well, I have made tables that way. They're called river tables.
Okay, so that's it.
You take the live edge piece of the wood. When you cut a log and mill it into a slab, the live edge is the two outside edges of the log, which would have been the natural shape of the outside of the tree. Okay. In fact, I have a piece here to show you. So this is a slab of Cuban mahogany, and the live edge is this edge here. That's the natural shape. And what I do is I'll take them and cut them and flip them to the inside, and then pour the void with the resin. Like here's a piece that I made. So this is an iPad stand, or even a cell phone stand, and this is Cuban mahogany. This is the live edge in the middle, and I poured the void with what's called a poison apple epoxy resin. Kind of gives it a different look.
Okay, so that's one of the ones I saw. So that's what it is. It's an epoxy resin that comes out hot. It hardens, and that's it forever.
Yeah, this is another style using dimension lumber where it's all square, not live edge, but various species of tree. And people don't realize, the trees that grow around here. We have a phenomenal selection in Florida.
Sure.
A lot of exotic species, things that grow in South America grow here. And so, I have the ability to cut a lot of those trees and use various types of lumber. And in this piece I just showed you, there's probably 8 or 10 different species of wood in that one.
Wow. So. Now, where do you get some of the inspiration to create, or like to look at and go, if it's, I know you do tables, I know you do guitars and banjos, but are there like you do chairs or like cabinets, anything like that too?
No, I'm not a cabinet maker. I never have been. I've never had a desire to be. Cabinet makers are a whole different species, and the work they do is just dumbfounding to me. Yeah. I'm more of an organic, kind of a natural look. That's kind of what I'm after. I kind of look at the piece of wood, and the wood will tell me, as corny as it sounds, what it should be, or what it should look like, or what it should come out to be, or what its purpose will be. But a lot of it is just, I mean, outside of the epoxy resin that I use, a lot of it is just very organic and not very symmetrical, if you will. Now here's a piece of monkey. I do a lot of cutting boards, charcuterie boards. There's a big call for that. This is a piece of monkey pod. It's called Golden Rain Tree also as well. It's almost like it's type of a koa like they have in Hawaii. And so, I'll let the wood kind of speak to me about what it should look like and what it should come out to be.
And the charcuterie is interesting because that's so big, especially in the last few years. I can imagine restaurants, independent people, party people who do stuff like that would want things, and that's great because it's their own, like just local, independent. It's a very unique piece to go with people. And then just for the record, so you're having conversations with the wood, Mark?
Well, maybe not in so many words, but
do we need to call anyone or talk to anyone, or maybe maybe a therapist?
Oh, well, with the COVID and everything, there's been a heavy use of alcohol lately, so
right.
Part of that might be induced.
We're slowly losing our minds. I hear you, man. How about this? Let me throw you this one. What is your best-selling item?
Oh, without a doubt, it's the serving tray, charcuterie board, cutting boards. Yeah, that's probably the biggest #1 seller. And usually it's resin based, so things that have different colors of epoxy resin in them. But I've done quite a few lately. I've done quite a few side tables and coffee tables with them as well. So
okay. So you do so other than cabinets, you literally do, like you said. Now, did you mention chairs? Do you also do chairs or not?
No, I don't do chairs, but I do, as I said, I do dining tables, coffee tables. I've done a very large, an 8-foot long, 4-foot wide writing desk.
Wow.
For an attorney, actually. It was a beautiful piece of a pecan that I harvested in Cedar Key.
Right.
So
you don't have to say anything, but was it for the people?
It was, no.
Oh, I almost got you.
Yeah, you almost did, but
I'm just kidding. Okay, no worries. That is so cool. And how about, well, and I say it's so cool because I saw some of this online, and I love what you're doing. I just love this type of local businesses where people, like you said, it's not corporate, it's not national, so to speak. It's someone who lives here who goes, I can do this, and let me show you my creativity. And I like that. And we all do. Now, will we be seeing you at Shopapalooza this year?
Oh, absolutely. I was there last year. It was my first year. It was probably one of the best shows I ever had. I cannot thank and stress enough what Esther has done for the community, but not just in Shopapalooza, but everything she's been doing since the shutdown. And that's a fantastic show. And if people haven't been to that, I highly, highly recommend that you take that in, because that's a 2-day show like no other.
Yeah, thanks. I think we call it arguably the biggest local, show, a 2-day show in the country when it comes.
Yeah, I would agree.
It's and just to watch the infancy of it, like 10 years ago, it blew me away. And you're right. She just created recently the LocalShops1 marketplace. People can go to buylocaltampabay.com. All your vendors are on there, and you buy stuff where the goal is $1 million to go back into the local Tampa Bay economy and in the pockets of all the local vendors and store owners. And she does not take 1 red cent out of that.
She does not.
It's an amazing thing. So I'm so glad we're going to see you at Shopapalooza as well. I'm going to do something now I call a curveball question. What is your favorite dessert, Mark James?
Oh, wow. I'm a cake and pie kind of guy. Probably chocolate cake is my best.
Okay. Just straight up. Now, it doesn't have to be like dark fudge, just a good old-fashioned chocolate cake.
Yep, exactly.
What kind of pie?
Key lime, if it's a true key lime.
Right.
I like the key lime that when you eat it, it draws your sideburns up on top of your head. Like, I want it to hurt when I eat it.
It's got to be tart. It's got to be tart. The correct answer is free. I'll take any pie as long as it's free.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I agree. I'm a key lime pie as well. Key lime pie guy. If people want to get a hold of you in person, online, to see more of your stuff, your talents, to buy your stuff, which is the goal, of course, how can people do it website-wise, phone number, social media?
Sure. A number of my items are available on the Local Shops 1 page, which is by LocalTampaBay.com, BUY, LocalTampaBay.com. My website, conventional website, is BearCreekCustomTimber.com. There's a section on that page that's purchase, and you can contact me, see the items that I have available, and make a purchase through there. And I'm also on Facebook. My Facebook is probably my most current because I do a lot of social media interaction.
Good.
That is Bear Creek Custom Timber LLC. So if they just search on Facebook, Bear Creek Custom Timber LLC, they'll find that page. My phone number is 727-744-9080. You can certainly reach out to me there, and my email, and you can find all this on those various sites, but my email is bearcreekcustomtimber@gmail.com.
Very good. And social media, like you said, man, that's a huge role nowadays. So it's good that you're doing that and getting that representation. Mark James of Bear Creek Custom Timber LLC, thank you so much for joining us on the Local Shops 1 Lowdown. The best of luck to you. If there's anything else we can do for you, let us know. And most importantly, we will see you this November 2020 at Shopapalooza. And we look forward to that. In the meantime, I say, guys, thank you so much for, again, checking out the Local Shops 1 Lowdown. My name is Pat Largo, and we'll have another one for you soon. Thanks again.
Thank you, Pat.
All right, we're clear. We did it.